Hi guys, it's been a while. I mean, not since I've filmed a video, I do that every week, but since I've done some thrift flips. And today we're easing back into it with 5 of truly the easiest, simplest thrift flips I have possibly ever done. All right, let's get into it. It's time to meet the contestants. First, this white lace slip. She's gorgeous, but with all these extra straps, she's simply doing too much. Second, this overall maxi dress, which, as you can see, makes me look like a chalkboard eraser. This leopard print mini dress, whose bodice says, "I was made by a fast fashion brand with no logical sense of garment construction." And finally, this collection of beads, charms, and old junk jewelry. Let's check in with contestant number 1. Alright, so first we're taking on this thrifted white lace slip, which I already love. You've seen it in numerous videos before, but ever since I got it, I have just wanted to cut off those 2 little straps right across the front. They seem like they're mainly there just to like support your boobs more, but I don't really need them to support my boobs. This is just an over-the-top layer for me. I'm not actually using it as like a slip or lingerie. So yeah, this flip literally has 1 step. I just took the slip, and then I took my fabric scissors and I cut the straps off. I just tried to cut as close to the seam as possible, and yeah, I cut each of those little straps in the front, and then I also cut off this middle one going across the back too, and that's literally it. The end. If you have clothes with extra straps or ribbons or buttons or embellishments that you don't like, consider just cutting them off. Okay, next up we have this overall maxi dress. This is another item that you may have seen before on my channel. I received it from my wonderful friend Kathleen Illustrated in our thrift swap. If you aren't already a viewer of her, by the way, you should be. She's great. I think this overall dress is so cool, but I also think on me, a short person, it just looks a little silly. I will get more wear out of it if I just crop it a little bit and make it more of a midi length. So my first step was just to measure how short I wanted it to be. So I tried it on inside out and then just pinned up the end to a length that I thought seemed good. And then I just kind of cut off the bottom part that was pinned up, but then I also accidentally cut through part that was higher up, so I did actually end up having to crop it a little shorter than how it looks in the pinned part, but it's still fine. It's still a midi length. And once it was all cut off, I literally just had to sew the hem, and that was it. So I pinned it all down in a rolled hem just to keep those raw edges contained, and then just sewed a straight stitch all the way around, and that was that. Again, so easy. Can you believe how easy these are? Just hemming something to change the length can change the wearability dramatically. Okay, contestant number 3 is this little bodycon leopard print mini dress. This is honestly not really my style at all, but as you may have seen in my last thrift haul video, I got this for my Halloween costume. Even though this is just for a Halloween costume, I still want it to look good, and the bodice as it stood when I bought it looked so bad. As I mentioned earlier, the construction is just... whoever designed this, it was not clicking for them because there's 2 layers of fabric. It's kind of like a cami inside layer, and they ruched the fabric at the bodice only on the outside layer. So the inside layer is still just flat and straight across, and it's very visibly poking out from behind the ruched section. This was so infuriating to me. Like, who designed this? I just want to talk. Why would you do this and sell it in a store for money? That's insane. Luckily, I have the sewing skills to fix it. So that is what I did. So my first step was just to take out the ruching that was already there. As you can see, it was done in just the outside layer with like a little piece of elastic. I just seam ripped it with my little seam ripper tool. You could just leave it at that, but on me, there was too much extra room in the chest and it was sort of flopping open, and I didn't really want to flash anybody accidentally. So I decided to just re-ruche the center part so it would actually fit and look right. The first thing I did with that was just to cut out the lining, because honestly it wasn't actually serving any purpose as a cami. There was like no extra like elasticity or shape to it. It was just like an extra layer there for no reason. So I cut it out, and then to figure out how I wanted the ruching to lay, I just tried it on and then scrunched it together in the center of the chest, and then just safety pinned it to keep it scrunched like that. And then I took it off and I just sewed a straight stitch down that middle part, holding all the scrunching together. See how easy that was, H&M? Couldn't you just have done that from the start? You could have, but You simply didn't. I'm being so rude to H&M, but they're a fast fashion brand. They deserve it, okay? They deserve it. Okay, our final couple projects are both using this bag of sort of miscellaneous collected, some might say junk, others, such as myself, might say treasures. A lot of it is from old broken jewelry or jewelry from childhood that doesn't fit, or just other like random charms that I've like found around. I honestly have no idea where half of this stuff came from. So I decided I was gonna make a mismatched beaded necklace. So my first step was just to like dump out everything in the bag and sort through it. I also removed some of the beads from the old jewelry that they were still attached to, like these bracelets that didn't fit, or this one I made as a kid that honestly is such a slay. Like I was doing the eclectic mismatched beaded charm jewelry thing 15 years ago. I used all the beads from that. And then I also knew I wanted to use a bunch of different little dangly charms that I had stored away from other like broken jewelry and stuff. So I laid those all out. And then I just started picking beads and arranging them in an order that I liked. Truly, there was not much rhyme or reason to this. Obviously, I wanted it to look mismatched and hodgepodge. That was kind of the point. So there's no pattern. I really just picked whatever I wanted, whatever I liked. I kind of tried to balance like bigger beads with smaller beads so they were somewhat evenly distributed, but that was pretty much it. You know, if you do this, go crazy, literally do whatever you want. Channel your inner goblin, you know? Then when I had enough set out to at least cover like the front section of the necklace, I took my little stretchy jewelry string and I just cut a length of it to fit around my neck and have enough extra on the end so that I could like tie it in a little knot, you know, when I was done. And then I just started stringing the beads on in the order that I had them laid out. This was actually so fun. It's so satisfying. It's like meditative. It was such a pleasant craft to be doing. So finally, when I had all the ones that I had already planned, then I just started adding more kind of random smaller ones to each side just to complete the string all the way around my neck. And then I just tied the ends in a very, very tight knot. I like quadruple knotted it for security and then trimmed off the excess. And there you go. That's the necklace. All right, finally, I wanted to use some other items from this bag for another project. And I had two little skeleton keys in here. First, I thought it might be fun to try to make them into earrings, but then I didn't have the right supplies. And then I thought it might be fun to put one on like a ribbon as a necklace. So I cut some ribbon for the length, but then I just thought it looked weird because the ribbon was too thick. But then I had a new idea. So I instead tied the ribbon that was gonna be as a necklace into a little bow on top of the key, and then I could easily turn it into one of my personal favorite accessories. If you are a regular viewer of the channel, you may know where this is going. That's right, baby. We're making a brooch. I love a brooch. It's like jewelry that you can put anywhere. Everyone needs to get on this level. Yeah, so literally I just pinned a little safety pin to the back of the bow, and now we can pin it to whatever we want as the cutest accent ever. So just to complete this project, I did end up cutting the bow ribbons a little bit shorter so it would be a little more proportionate to the key. And then I also just melted the ends with the lighter, as I always do with ribbon, so that the ends don't fray. But yeah, that was it. Add the little safety pin, and now we can add it to a jacket, a dress, a scarf, really anything you want. I also just want to say I do realize not everyone has like a cool old vintage skeleton key just lying around, but you could use charms or pendants from like old jewelry that you don't wear anymore or jewelry that's broken. You could use like an old ring. Oh, and then I also used the extra little like trimmings of white ribbon that I had cut off from the bow to make another super tiny bow. And I'm going to show you how I would use that too in the grand reveal. All right. All of our contestants have had their allotted time to really bring their A game, give us their all, and now it's time to see their final transformations. First, we have the lace slip, literally the tiniest change ever, but I truly like this style so much better. It just looks so much more dainty and delicate to me. I also love the low back it has now with the strap across the back gone, though I will say that that does make it a little more prone to slipping down. But that's fine because it's a top layer, and I was thinking of adding some ribbon in the back to tie in a bow to secure it better instead of that strap that was there. So let me know if you want to see that in the next thrift flip video. Next, we have the overall dress. I love this cropped version. It just feels so much more casual and wearable, less dramatic. I wore it today actually to go thrifting. And also, this length gives me a much better range of motion. Like, it was actually a little hard to walk in before with the straight cut all the way to the ankles, so that's just another plus. This leopard print dress had another really subtle change, but I absolutely love it. I think this really goes to show how far fit can go to make or break a garment. Like, this just looks so much more flattering and just like it's molded to my body instead of like fighting against it. I also hope this helps you all realize when you're shopping and you feel like something just looks so bad on you, it's because they failed to construct it for your body, which is the whole point of clothes. So it's the garment that's wrong, not you or your body. Also, here's my Halloween costume with this dress. I was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Alright, as you know, our bag of knickknacks was turned into a couple items, but first up, this necklace. I am obsessed with this. I love the like eclectic DIY crude jewelry look so much. This might be like a lot for some people, but I have actually been wearing it on a daily basis. I just love the character it adds to every outfit. I do wish I had put some of the dangling charms onto little chain links first so they would lay a little flatter, but I can always restring it. And also, as the elastic stretches out, they might start to lay a bit flatter on their own. Our other project from the junk pile was this little key brooch. I am also so obsessed with this. Can you tell I like fashion that looks like something a borrower would come up with? This is just the cutest, most fun touch ever. Like, on a blazer, it's giving vintage, academia, secret society. On a dress, it could give like girly, whimsical secret garden vibes. I am so happy with this, especially considering I just randomly thought of it at the last minute. It just makes any look so much more unique and elevated. Oh, and then I also used that tiny bow made from extra ribbon by just pinning it onto this tank top. If you wanted it to be permanent, you could also just glue or sew it on. I love the versatility of pinned on embellishments, hence my love of brooches. But yeah, I think this is just such a simple way to add such a cute, dainty detail to literally anything. Please let me know which contestant you think is the winner in the comments. Which one was your favorite? Which one would you make yourself? And of course, if you do any of these thrift flips yourself or do any DIY projects inspired by any of my projects in my videos, please send me a picture on Instagram. Truly, nothing brings me more joy than seeing your projects, so send them over. Speaking of which, I now present you with a subscriber creation from Nina. Look at this gorgeous patchwork dress she made. It's so freaking good. It's so cute. This picture, absolutely Pinterest worthy. Also, she sent me this like 2 months ago and I was just waiting for my next DIY video to feature it, so thank you for your patience, Nina. Oh, and if anyone wants to see how to make that dress, you can watch this video right here. I definitely also recommend my other thrift flip videos if you enjoyed this one. Here's a popular one, and here's a playlist of a bunch of them if you want to watch. Oh, and I heard, if you like the video, leave a comment, share it with a thrift flip queen in your life, watch another video, and of course, subscribe to the channel. You'll finally find the perfect use for all the random small objects you've been hoarding with your craft supplies.